As I walk around my property, I have a lot of low branches, so I'm gonna fix them with the... What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. So, as I mentioned, I've got a lot of low-hanging branches. Thought I would like to trim them, keep myself from getting whacked in the face by branches while I am out mowing or even just walking around. And so while I was doing a little window shopping at Home Depot, I saw this 60-volt cordless pole saw. Not pole like Polish, it's pole like you dance on. So what I love is that it is cordless and uses the batteries that I already have here. So what I think I will be able to do here with this little guy is trim the branches that I can reach, but also the branches I can't reach. So let's get this 10-inch chainsaw that is 8 foot long, unboxed, set up, and try it out. All right, so this is what we get in the box here. Looks like we get a tool for assembly, a guard for the chainsaw, and there is the track for it. We also get, looks like, the wall charger right there. Should just plug in 2-prong outlet, which is awesome. We also get a 60-volt battery. Now, this is the Flexforce line, and there are a couple of Flexforce batteries. This one is the smaller of it. You can see here 108 watt hours. Although, assuming that you can get the larger battery to hang off here, which it looks like you can, I think you can even use the larger battery. And then here is the pole saw, and as you can see, it's in 3 sections here. So it's going to kind of come together like a tent pole. Man, that is going to be plenty long, plenty long. So to put these sections together, you have this piece right here, which will clamp down on it. You've got to actually loosen up this bolt right up here, which is loosened already. And then you've got the wrench for it on this end. So I'm just going to go ahead and slide this in. One thing I want to note here is that we have a hole right here, and then we have the little tab right there. So you have to line those up first before you push them together. And once that little button is in the hole there, that will index it. Now you can just roll that over like that and then use the smaller side here to tighten this down to clamp those 2 pieces together. And you're going to just repeat this for the piece up here by the handlebar. So this will go in there, the button will index it, and then you will use that wrench, again, to tighten it down. All right, down here on the business end where the chainsaw will be, but we don't have it yet. So I've got the bar as well as the chain itself. What I have to do here is remove this top piece. And I also want to point out here that we also have this top cap right here. So this is the bar and chain oil filler cap, I believe. All right, this comes off. And now what you can see here is that we will take this bar and I don't know that it matters, but because I'm OCD, I'll have the letters facing up like this. But this slot right here will straddle this middle piece. And then this little hole right here will index on this little tab right there. So let's see if I can get it on there. Okay, so now I've got it on there. You can feel it's pretty sturdy if I try to wiggle this up and down. And that's going to allow us to move this forward and back with the tensioner to tension up that chain. Now I'm going to take the chain and put it on. Now, as I'm draping this chain around here, there's obviously a little channel in the top of this bar where these little bottom teeth are going to go in there. Now, one thing I want to show you here is that they have this little icon right there. You can see it kind of looks like 2 eyes and Ronald Reagan here. And if we look up here, we have a part that matches it. So that is going to be how you want the chain to move. So this piece right there has to match that orientation. All right, otherwise you have it backwards. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and put that in and then loop the back end around the gear here, that little sprocket. Okay, chain is in the bar all the way around here. I've got it looped around that sprocket right there. So I'm going to put the cap back on and then just tighten it back down. All right, now that it's tightened back down, what we can do here is actually tighten the chain up because we don't want all this slack in there. Now, the way we're going to tighten this chain up is you also want to make sure that while it's loose here, everything is in the channel. You don't want to tighten it up when it's not in there. But if we go right down here, you might be able to see there's a little flathead screw, and that is going to be how we tighten this chain, which is actually going to force the bar out here. Now, that is going to be the screwdriver end of this tool here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there and start tightening it down. All right, quick tip. When you are tightening this screw there, clockwise will tighten it, and then anti-clockwise, or how we say in the States here, counterclockwise, will loosen it up. And I've always kind of heard you want like 1/8 of an inch slack on chainsaws. So as you can see, I've got just a little bit there, but it's pretty nice and tight. So now what I want to do here is put the protective cover on and then see if we can add some oil here, charge up the battery, and then cut some tree branches. So To fill up the oil here, I'm just going to unscrew the cap. You can see we are bone dry. There is a little window on this side, which you can see the level, but I'm just going to go ahead and add some bar and chain oil. I have heard, and I've never done this myself, but I've heard some people have used vegetable oil in a pinch because it's biodegradable and usually readily available when you're out in the middle of nowhere. So I have official bar and chain oil though, so I'm going to put that in there. All right, I have the battery charged up here, and I just put it into the chainsaw here. So now let's see if this sucker works. I have the chainsaw ready to go here. I also like that we have this little ledge right here so that as you're sawing, it will kind of brace itself against any branches that you might need to be cutting down. I am putting on PPE here, so I'm not your mama. Do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. Gloves, goggles in my case here, as well as band-aids over my nipples. All right, so what we have here now are a bunch of branches that I would not normally be able to get to, but I can get to them with this little guy right here. And as you might be able to see here, what we have is a lockout switch for the thumb right here, and then the trigger right here. So if I pull that back, there it goes. Fires up pretty quickly here. Let's see if we can cut down some of these dead branches. Woo, baby! This sucker cuts through quick. Oh, yeah. The problem with this thing is that I may get a little carried away and cut down way more stuff than I know how to dispose of. And even if it's low, I mean, looks like I can still get this little guy out of the way here, even though it's only waist high, but that's going to make lawn mowing a lot easier. And look at this. I still got lots of branches up here that I need to cut away. Oh man, this thing makes short work of cutting down branches. So even the ones that are pretty high up there don't stand a chance. This guy is pretty big, at least 2 inches in diameter. No problems. All right, and this guy is 10 feet up there at least. So let's see if I can get this one. I'll tell you what, this makes it pretty easy. It's kind of addictive too. Whew, don't want to get hit in the head with that. But look at this, I can cut down all these branches with this Toro chainsaw here. 8-foot reach on this bad boy. It is obviously very effective at cutting stuff down, makes it super easy. Probably the hardest thing now is picking up all these branches and getting them mulched up so that I can use them to put around my flower bed. So if you want to pick up this Toro tree trimming chainsaw, I would highly recommend it. No gas needed, all electric, power to spare with the Flexforce battery. I'll put a link to this bad boy in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.
We can discover more and explore so much deeper. We can live better than ever.